We're here at the annual conference of the Amsterdam Institute for Advanced Labor Studies of the University of Amsterdam. The annual conferences of the AIAS always focus on a theme which is relevant in view of societal problems and which is also very topical. And on the other hand, we choose themes which we think are interesting from a point of view of academic research. I think today's theme, Never Waste a Good Crisis, preeminently fits in this description of the kind of themes that we address during our annual conferences.
So bottom line, good news is that a number of the policies that you could argue are conducive to better labor market outcomes in terms of structural employment and unemployment are also good for increasing the resilience and the ability of the labor market to cope with shocks. Among the different set, there are two that stands out pretty clearly. One is the coordination of wage bargaining, and there's a lot to be learned, I think, from the experience of countries on that. On the negative side, this idea of allowing greater flexibility in the labor market by promoting a typical type of labor contracts.
Whether all this effort that has been made in terms of active labor market policies had an impact on the employment level of low-skilled people. It's the same indicator we saw already a few times in this presentation, and you can see what really looks like a flat line here. So apparently this performance in terms of job creation that we've seen previously in the low-skill segment of the labor market seems to be completely unrelated to how much effort countries have put, at least with a crude indicator like this one, how much effort they've put in active labor market policy. Various reasons can explain this, because at the micro level we find modest effect. Maybe the effects are too modest to show up at the macro level. This is a hypothesis. Another hypothesis is that maybe there is some substitution effect going on here. There are people finding jobs thanks to the active labor market policy, but as a result of their finding a job, there is someone else who enters unemployment, so you don't see this in the employment rate.
But the fact that everyone should want their children to get the best possible education, that doesn't necessarily mean that the jobs are going to, in sufficient numbers, the good jobs are going to be there in sufficient numbers. And in the United States, we are in denial about the facts about low-wage work. Millions of people know that they're not earning enough to make ends meet, but they tend to see their situation on an individual basis. Their own failure or bad fortune, they tend not to see that they're each one a small part of a deep structural flaw in our labor market and in our economy itself.
I hope that it was worthwhile. Thank you and see you again next year.